Fathers, what did your daughter's boyfriend do that forever changed how you saw him? As a military veteran, I was not impressed when my 18-year-old daughter brought home this scrawny college kid named Marcus. He was studying art history, had never thrown a punch in his life, and called me sir every other sentence, like he was terrified of me, which honestly he should have been. I decided to put him through what I called basic training every time he came over. I'd find some way to test his character, make him help me move furniture in the garage, work on the car in freezing weather, anything to see if he'd crack and run. Marcus never complained. He'd show up in old clothes, ready to work, even when I made him reorganize my entire tool shed twice, because I claimed he did it wrong. The first time he just smiled and said, "Yes sir, I'll get it right this time." What really annoyed me was how gentle he was with my daughter Emma. He'd hold doors open for her, carry her books, and actually listen when she talked about her day. It was like watching someone handle a piece of glass they were afraid to break. One Saturday I decided to really test him. I told him we were going hiking, but I led him on the most brutal trail I knew. 6 miles, straight, uphill through thick woods. I was hoping he'd quit halfway through and show Emma his true colors. 3 hours in, Marcus was struggling. His face was red and he was breathing hard, but he never asked to stop or complained when we finally reached the top. He just sat down and said, "That was beautiful, sir. Thank you for bringing me here." That's when I noticed he'd been taking pictures the whole time. Not selfies, but shots of wildflowers, interesting rock formations, and views of the valley below. When I asked why, he said, "Emma loves nature photography, but she's never been on a trail this remote. I wanted to show her what she's missing." The real moment came 2 weeks later when Emma called me crying from campus. She'd been walking to her dorm late at night when 3 guys started following her. She managed to get to safety, but she was shaken up and scared I was about to drive the 4 hours to her college when Marcus called me sir. "I know you're probably already in your car, but Emma asked me to call you. She's safe. She's with me, and I'm not leaving her side tonight." I asked him what happened, and he explained that Emma had called him first. He'd immediately driven to campus, picked her up, and taken her to the police station to file a report. Then he'd walked her entire route with campus security to identify where it happened. But here's what got me. He'd also called Emma's roommate, her best friend, and even her mom to make sure she had a support system. He'd thought of everything I would have done, and more. While I was still processing the phone call the next day, Marcus drove Emma home for the weekend. When they arrived, I saw something that changed everything. Emma was holding his hand, but more than that, she was looking at him, the way my wife used to look at me, like he was her safe place. I pulled Marcus aside and asked him what his plan was for protecting my daughter long term. He didn't hesitate. "Sir, I'm already looking into apartments near campus with better lighting and security. I've been taking self-defense classes and I'm teaching Emma everything I learned." Then he said something that floored me. "I know I'm not the guy you pictured for Emma. I'm not tough like you, or brave like the men in your family, but I love her enough to become whatever she needs me to be." That night, at dinner, I watched Marcus help Emma feel safe again. He didn't try to minimize what happened or tell her to get over it. He just listened and made sure she knew it wasn't her fault. 6 months later, when Marcus asked for my blessing to propose, I realized something. I'd been testing him to see if he was tough enough for my daughter, but what Emma needed wasn't someone who could fight her battles. She needed someone who would stand beside her through anything. I gave him my blessing, but I also gave him something else. My grandfather's ring, the one I'd been saving for the man who proved he deserved my little girl. Marcus cried when I handed it to him and said, "Sir, I promise I'll spend my whole life being worthy of this." They're married now, and every time I see them together, I'm reminded that sometimes the best protection you can give your daughter isn't a tough guy who can throw punches. It's a gentle man who will catch her when she falls.